Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another live Manchester United news show. Manchester United are looking at a left wing back at Frankfurt, Nathaniel Brown. Now, this is a player that is seen as the next sort of Nuno Mendes type player, and he could be Manchester United's perfect left wing back target for January. We're also looking at the likes of Jeremy Jacket and some other interesting players. We know Elliot Anderson is the dream. We know Baleba is a big dream of United's, but that seems summer-bound. Maybe United are looking at people they think is more realistic ahead of the January window. So we're going to talk about the latest on that in today's show. But there's a few other things I want to talk about. Casemiro, Carlo Ancelotti's comments on Casemiro. I want to just dive into a couple of stories in and around Manchester United. Elliot Anderson, we covered a lot of the Elliot Anderson news yesterday, but Elliot Anderson basically is United's first choice midfielder next summer. United are going to go all in for him. Personal terms won't be an issue. We kind of discussed that yesterday, but I might touch upon that later. But look, big up everybody for tuning in. It is the international break. Normally the international break is pretty dead with news, but there is a few interesting stories going about, which is always nice to see. And yeah, normally international break is like, I'm fed up of it. Like, luckily no injuries so far. Fingers crossed it stays that way. But we've had like 4 international breaks. It's just, it's too much. It's too much. Alice, did you see the Portugal-Ireland game? I was out, but apparently it was mad sins. No Bruno Fernandes, so that's probably why Portugal. But yeah, let's dive into the news and all of that as well. We have Leon and Dorgu and Amas. I guess you can say we don't need a left wing back. We do. We need someone that's more ready now. I like Dorgu. Dorgu was very good for Denmark the other day. Dorgu was very good in pre-season. Dorgu was hit and miss. Dorgu should be our starting left wing back, not Delo. 100%. I like Dorgu. There is a player there, but he is raw. Ball carrying, Dorgu's very good at. Crossing, that's where Dorgu needs to improve, but ball carrying, Dorgu is very good at. I do really like Patrick Dorgu, but I think we need somebody that's maybe a little bit more ready. We need probably an experienced left wing back. And look, Nathaniel Brown is 22. I wouldn't say he was necessarily experienced, but he's definitely that level ahead of Dorgu. And I just think for me, sell Delo, bring in Nathaniel Brown, or you could bring in someone like Semenyo, because he could play left 10 and left wing back, but I think you'd rather play left 10. You know, I just think sell Delo and get me a proper left wing back that could play right wing back if need be. If I'm going to be honest. So yeah. Anyway, we've only got. When do Man United play? We play on Monday, don't we? Do we play Monday? We've still got another 8 days of this international break, so we don't play until Monday. If we were playing on Saturday, this would be 6 days. 8 days. We played Everton at 8 o'clock on Monday. The last time we played Everton at home under Amorim, we won 4-0. So let's have a bit of that. Yeah. Trust me. I know we've been slandering Delo a lot on the channel, but nah, teams will buy Delo. Like, there is a good player there. In the back four, Delo was our player of the season in the back four 3 years ago. He's just not a wing back. He's just so not a wing back, and it's so painful. But in the back four, he's solid. He's not great going forward, but he's solid. So, like, Delo could play for a decent side. Like, I could see someone like Newcastle buying Delo when they sell Trippier. And look, like, as backup to Livramento for depth, because they're like, well, this is a Premier League proven player that could be good depth. That if Livramento gets injured, cool. Because then you have Livramento, Lewis Hall. I mean, I could see that. Newcastle fans are going to hate me for saying that. But I think there's good sides that would buy Delo. If Amorim keeps playing Delo, Dorgu won't get enough game time to improve. I mean, I'm not worried about that because I just think that Amorim can't keep justifying playing Delo. He had to drop Delo last game. And he shouted at Delo in the Forest game because he was having an all-time stinker. So I think we'll be all right in that sense. But 25 million, I reckon we can get 20 to 25 million for Delo. I do. I actually do think we could. But maybe that's just me because he's still young. He's got a good mentality. I want to talk about the transfer news and all of that stuff going about. But yeah, let's dive in by starting with some talk on Casemiro. And then I want to get into the transfer news. So, Carlo Ancelotti said this. He is the most important player for the team's balance. He's very tactically intelligent. He shows great leadership. He's an important player for us. Now, Casemiro was basically man of the match for Brazil the other day. Fantastic goal, fantastic performance. He's just the balance in the team. He's a proper DM. And look, we've seen he's the balance in our team this season whenever Casemiro comes off the pitch. we are shite. Is probably the way to put it. And I wanted to just talk about Casemiro and his sort of resurgence, and how much better he's been this season. Because for me, he's been so good and important this season. I do think his legs have gone to an extent, but I think it talks a lot about his mentality, because this is what I tweeted. So, I don't know if you can see that very well. Maybe if I do that, maybe that's better for you guys. Okay. There you go. So, I tweeted this. This time last year, Casemiro was finished and got slander all over the media, including the fan base. We all were like, he's done. But particularly Sky Sports, Jamie Carragher was just a different level of calling him out, but nobody else. A 5 times UCL winner, benched at United, called out by Jamie Carragher, Sky Sports, as finished, done at the top level, not even in Amorim's plans. He looked washed. That was what was being said of Casemiro a year ago. Now, when you're a 5-time Champions League winner and you can't get in this dead Man United midfield and people are giving you slander left, right, and centre, that's got to hurt. A player of Casemiro's stature, that's got to hurt. It must have been hard for him. Now, he could have thrown a strop. Amorim's not playing me. He could have thrown a strop and done a Garnacho and demanded a move. He probably knew he wasn't playing because he didn't play well enough. But he could have easily thrown a strop, thrown his toys out the pram like Garnacho and demanded a move, because he wasn't getting game time for 3 months under Ruben Amorim. For the first 3 months under Ruben Amorim, he barely played. But instead, he stayed quiet, got on with it, supported the team, was a proper dressing room leader. One thing that was reported about Casemiro was even when he wasn't playing, he was in the dressing room like a real leader, worked himself into the shape of his life. I don't know if you've seen the before and afters of Casemiro in September of 2024 to Casemiro in January of 2025. Ridiculous. And came back stronger. He supported his teammates, wanted what was best for the team, and got in the shape of his life and worked his way back into the team after basically being frozen out of the team for 3 months and Sinner's finished. Sadly his legs are gone and he can't really play more than 70 minutes. But his resurgence is a perfect example of elite mentality. Look, I'm not saying he can't play more than 70 minutes in the sense of he can play 90 minutes. We've seen it. But you can see after 70 minutes, his legs do drop off a little bit. And that's probably why Amorim is subbing him off for Agate when there's a huge drop-off, because maybe he's worried of Casemiro's legs. I don't know. But what Casemiro has done and achieved, not just this season, but actually the back end of last season, Casemiro was very good. He was very, very good the back end of last season. How he turned it around under Amorim, and he's come back this season in great shape. But actually, about February time last year, he really turned it around under Amorim. It just... what a player. I mean, yeah, man of the match yesterday for Brazil. I didn't watch the game. He's good, but not for the future of this team. And I agree. We need to find the Casemiro. We need to find the Casemiro replacement and sell Casemiro. We need to find 2 elite midfielders to come in. But I just think, his mentality and experience is what we needed. And he's brought that. Do you think Casemiro will stay? He'd have to half his wages. Apparently he's on a fish diet as well. I did not know that. But I know he lost a lot of weight, and if you look at his shape, it's mad. It's actually mad. So I just think, Casemiro doing what he's doing for Brazil, doing what he's doing for Man United, it's an example of he could have had a strop like Garnacho and been like, why isn't the manager playing me? Now he's shut up. And he absolutely got on with it. So that tells you everything you need to know. But anyway, let's talk about Manchester United, and let's talk about transfer news and stories going about, because there's a few interesting bits going around in the world of transfer news, and actually in regards to United signing a wing-back. So I want to get into a few stories on United and the whole wing-back situation and all of that as well, because we are looking at wing-backs. Ben Jacobs has said we are looking at wing-backs. And a few interesting things came out. But what was said by Bild is that United have added Eintracht Frankfurt's Nathaniel Brown to their list. United are looking at him. They have him on the radar. There's City, there's Arsenal, there's Real Madrid that are also looking at him. The question is, will he leave? Eintracht Frankfurt want a big fee, but he's 22 years of age. Man United are interested. United have their sights set on a big deal. And, they believe they can get 63 million euros for him, which is like 53 million pounds, which I don't think United are going to pay that much for a wing-back when we never got to spend big on a midfielder. But realistically, United believe they can probably do a deal for around 40 million. But this is seen as the next Nuno Mendes type left wing-back. Very, very highly rated player, very, very highly rated prospect. And United are looking strongly at the player. Now, I sent a few notes on Nathaniel Brown. I gave him a search online, and I wanted to share some things that had been written about him, so you can kind of understand the player that he is and how highly rated he is. So he's 22 now. He's a left back, left wing back, described as an absolute scythe of a tackler, one of only 3 players in the top 5 leagues with 40 plus dribblers tackled and 80% success rate since 17-18, which is absolutely nuts when you actually deep that. Like, he's very good defensively 1v1. Good crosser, that's what we need. I think Dorgu's got a lot of good attributes, but crossing, good crosser, both from far left and from in-swinging corners, and a ball carrier. What does Amarin need? A wing-back that is defensively capable, tick. A wing-back that can cross, tick. But most importantly, a wing-back that can carry the ball, tick. 1 to 2 years ago for being the most coveted left-back in the summer. Now, this was written a while back. So by the time he joins Man United in the summer, he's going to be in a very strong position. Harvey Diamond said that Nathaniel Brown is one hell of a fullback prospect. The intangibles to be an elite left-back are definitely there. Very athletic, good crosser and strong tackler, similar to Nuno Mendes' profile fullback, will have a strong case to be in the starting 11 for Germany at the World Cup. Just to let you know as well, Nuno Mendes is the perfect left wing back for Man United. We can't get Nuno Mendes. This is the closest thing to Nuno Mendes. Carves Chrome says, I've watched Nathaniel Brown. He's literally a mini Nuno Mendes. He's such a good tackler. This is what United need in their left wing back, to be honest. Someone said, you're not getting Anderson. He wants Newcastle, which is a much better prospect team. Well, a lot of players, apparently Mbeumo and Cunha, were in Newcastle when they came to Man United. So we'll see. Look, he is a Newcastle boy. But we're above Newcastle right now. So depends how the season ends. For wing back, keep Dorgu, sell Delo, loan out Leon and sell Amas. I wouldn't sell Amas. Amas is doing well on loan. Maybe a loan, but he's seen as maybe the next sort of Nuno Mendes at left wing back, which is sort of what United need. And I just was reading tweets about him. Like, this is just 3 examples of Nathaniel Brown is already one of the best left backs in the world. Nuno Mendes is solely number 1. Then you've got players like Balde Davis, and Brown is already coming, then insane profile of world-class footballer. And it's true. Like, this is United's perfect left wing back. This is someone that could be available in the January window. And this is a very good left wing back that United will be looking at and thinking, well, there could be an opportunity here. Not only do we need midfielders, but the midfielders we want, we can only get in, for example, the summer. United might say, well, could we potentially do something like this in January, and then we go for midfielders in the summer, because we need a left wing back. 2 midfielders and a left wing back is the 3 most important positions. Then we can look at centre back. Then we can look at maybe another bit of firepower and attack. But that's what we need the most. And it's good to see that United are probably aware of that and are like, okay, now we're looking at Nathaniel Brown, a realistic player that is available in January that is a very good fullback. And United are like, okay, now we're looking at it as well. I liked the look of Amas even in his brief minutes with us last term. Same here. Amas is doing very well at Sheffield Wednesday. Very, very well. Imagine Minter and Ahmad at wing back. Minter's been mint this season. The best 5 wingers in the league have been Mbeumo, Semenyo, Doku, Minter, and Kudus this season. You can't argue with that top 5. And Jai, if you count him as a winger, so 6. But they have been the best 6 wingers in the league this season. Minter is mint, but I don't think he's what we'll be going for as well. We need to go out for Anderson. Yeah. Missing out on him is like missing out on Declan Rice. And Declan Rice is one of the only midfielders I think could make Amarin's system work, because Amarin wants his midfielders to do this crazy amount of running, and I feel the same with Elliot Anderson. For me, get Baleba, get Elliot Anderson, get Semenyo. That is like my dream window. That is my dream window, to be honest. Like, those 3 are the dream. But I also think we need another centre-back, and we have been looking at Jeremy Jackett as well, because obviously Maguire may go. Obviously, if we're in the Champions League next season, having lost Lindelof and Evans and not replaced them, we're going to need another centre-back for depth. We've got Aiden Heaven, we've got Yoro, and if you added Jeremy Jackett to that, we'd probably have one of the best young defences in football, which is nuts. But JS Transfer Time put this out, and this is what he said. And this is, obviously, it came out 2 days ago that we're scouting him and that we're looking at him. So we had reports 2 days ago linking us to the player. Manchester United are very interested in Jeremy Jackett and are ready to sign the promising young centre-back from Stade Reims. Now, he says ready to sign. Might be a bit of a jump of the gun there, but we are scouting him. We're looking at him. We like him. He's currently partnered with Yoro in France's under-21 squad, and he's keen on joining United. His versatility, composure, and physicality make him a modern centre-back with potential to grow into a key role at Old Trafford. I mean, it looks like ChatGPT has definitely wrote that second bit. You know when it's ChatGPT, when they always give him 3 compliments: versatility, composure, physicality. I think that's probably a bit ChatGPT written, but that's what's been said. The player is under contract with Stade Reims until 2029, having signed a long-term extension in May 2025. Rennes are expected to value him at 25 to 40 million, reflecting his potential and importance to the club. United's pathway to securing Xhaka is active, with further developments expected. So we are looking at him. He is a good player. He plays with Euro in the under-21s, and he's apparently open to the move. You know, he could be... Jacket could be a good fit, no pun intended. I mean, he's something I'm open to. I look at it and I think we've got De Ligt, we've got Leacher, we've got Maguire. So there are 3 experienced centre-backs. Either Leach is going to go because of his injury issues, or Maguire's going to go because of his contract. But we've got our 3 experienced centre-backs. You've then got Mazraoui that can play centre-back, and Luke Shaw that can play centre-back, and are probably best at centre-back in this system, but I do want to see Luke Shaw try the left wing-back. And then you've got Euro and Heaven. I think one of Maguire and Leacher will go, and I think you can just bring Jacket in to replace him, because Mazraoui can play centre-back. I know he's injury-prone a bit more lately, and he was before he joined United, but he didn't really get any injuries in his first season at United. Luke Shaw's having a good run of games without picking up an injury. So that's how I see it. Jacket is good on the ball, tackler, reading the game, his strengths and dominant in the air. He looks good from what I've seen. I've not seen enough of him to say I know everything about this player, but I've watched him, and he looks like he's got the right physical and technical traits to be good enough. Like, he looks like he's got the right physical and technical traits to be a good player. So that's what I like. Luke Shaw can't play left wing back. I don't know. I would like to see him given half an hour there, because he was given like a 20-minute cameo there last season and looked really good. I don't think his legs have it in him for 90 minutes. But I would like to see like a little short Luke Shaw cameo at wing back. I can't lie. What about Heaven doesn't get playing time? Will Jacket get playing time? Well, I'm assuming next season will be in the Europa League or Champions League, so there will be more playing time. I also think Maguire and Leacher, their futures are at risk. We also lost Evans and Lindelof. Luke Shaw's injury prone. Mazraoui's had injury issues. Euro and De Ligt have had injury issues in the past. So I think minutes are there. Like, I think United is Jacket, Semenyo, Baleba, Elliot Anderson would be an absolutely mint window. Because Semenyo can give you cover at wing back, but also at left turn. And Jai will run rings past Shaw and Delo. And Jai's going to worry me at the weekend, or Monday, I should say. A 19-year-old Luke Shaw would be a superstar in Amarin system. He would. And that's why I do look at Harry Amas and say, look, and he's doing well at Sheffield Wednesday. I am looking at Harry Amas and thinking he is a bit of a mini Luke Shaw. But I think it's a little bit early with Harry Amas. He's so young, he's so raw. Could use more pace, particularly, yeah. De Ligt is the solid guy, but he's not like as mobile. You know, Euro's quick. I think like Jacket, you know, he's got that little bit of pace about him. So I agree with Alex there as well. Alice, will you be watching any of the matches today? I just don't really watch international break, to be honest. Like, I think like when Maino made his England debut, I was like, okay, I'll watch England. But like, I just don't really give a crap about England versus Albania. Like, sorry. It's just like, we've already qualified. I think we've already qualified. I just don't care. I just don't care, to be honest. So, probably not. I mean, the only team I really watch in the international break is Portugal. Because they have Man United players. Which sounds so bad, doesn't it? They are playing Armenia in like an hour. Bruno has been rested. Oh no, Bruno hasn't been rested. Bruno's playing right wing. Yeah. I watch more Portugal than England at the moment. I think it's because Bruno plays. Can we get Bastoni or Schlotterbeck? I mean, be difficult. I think Barcelona and Liverpool are going to be all over those two centre-backs because they need a centre-back badly. I think it'll be tough. Bruno does start. International break sucks. It does suck. It's boring. Alice, do you think top 4 finish is realistic? No, but I think 5th, and you could sneak a Champions League spot in 5th, potentially, yeah. Alice, you biased towards Bruno and Delo. I mean, if you've watched my channel, you'll know I'm definitely not biased towards Delo. If you've watched some of my I like Bruno, but I do call out Bruno when he has a shit game. I love Bruno. Maybe I've got a bit biased towards Bruno, but if you watch my videos, you cannot say I have a bias towards Delo. Sometimes I feel like I'm mean on Delo. I feel like I pick on Delo a bit actually. Sometimes I think because I'll just do my match reactions and I'm like, and Delo, and then I'm like Delo's just nah. I definitely don't have a bias towards Delo. I can't see Bastoni leaving. I can't see it. Bruno could stat pad today potentially. International breaks good when you have a chance to reach World Cup. I'm excited for Thursday game versus Denmark. We'll reach World Cup. Like, there's definitely exciting games in the international break. Don't get me wrong. Just England's on. England, Albania. Sorry, it's just not. It's just not exciting in the slightest. I only find it exciting if it's like, oh, this is like there's two big teams and the loser won't qualify, or like it's a Man United player making the debut or something like that. I want to see Shea Lacey number 10 after AFCON or during AFCON, yeah. There is rumours that Shea Lacey is going to be given a run out in the 10. Probably not a start, but maybe a little cameo in the 10 with the players at AFCON. Just reality, not suited as a wing back, and even in the back four, Delo's form blows hot and cold. Exactly. Delo in the back four, solid player, good squad player. Delo in the back five, I think you can argue he's a good squad player because I think he's got a good mentality, he's got good physical and technical traits, but he's not a wing back. I don't even think he's a squad player in the back five. He's just not a wing back. Like, without trying to pick on Delo, like, look, I just look at players like Delo and I think we got to move him on. You know, I was asked my thoughts on Mason Mount. I have mixed thoughts on Mason Mount. I like him. I think there's a good player there. I think he suits Amarin's system well, but I think he's a squad player, and I don't think he's a starter in our best 11. And I think when you think of the money he's on and the injuries he's had, I would still like to see a bit more from Mason Mount. But I've been mostly happy with him this season. Do you think Sesko will be good? I'm confident that Sesko's going to have a good career. It's difficult being a young player at Man United, but I'm confident he's going to have a good career. Do you think we'll see any Taro Malacia? I was asked earlier, and probably not. But Taro Malacia is working really hard. He's just trying to get in the best shape of his life because he wants to continue his career. And with Taro Malacia, it's not really his fault. Like, Amarin's come in, he's a defensive fullback, so obviously doesn't suit Amarin's system. But, like, he just had that horrible injury that's really set him back. So it's a shame with Malacia, but he's got one thing about Malacia, and Amarin asked the Man United players if they should bring him back, and they're all like, yeah, is he's always had a really good mentality, and he's always worked really hard. Yeah. Despite leaving Italy camp due to injury, Arsenal expect Calafiore to be available next week. There's been a few injuries in the international break to Arsenal, but apparently they should be fine. No injuries to United, luckily, which is good news. Time to cash in on Delo. I think he suits some La Liga Serie A clubs. I agree. Mason created 2 chances after coming on, making Sesko one-on-one with the keeper. Sometimes he's good. I agree. I like Mount. He's just sometimes he's a bit invisible and sometimes he's great. I like Mount though. I do. But like sometimes he's really good and sometimes I'm like, I don't know, he just suits certain games more than others. Sometimes we get Delo's still just 26. Delo's been around a while. Delo's quite young. That's why I say I think we can get decent money for Delo because it's not like he's old and ancient. Like, Delo is pretty young. Like, I'm looking at our wingback situation and I'm like, well, you've got Dorgu, you've got Amas, and you've got Leon for left wing back. I know, all young. And you've got Ahmad for right wing back. There's talk of Munoz coming in. Like, I feel like we need a left wing back that's going to start, but that left wing back could also play right wing back if we wanted to play Ahmad further up. And you've got Majrari, who I think will be a centre back, but in certain games will maybe go right wing back. So I think you can sell Delo if you bring in a wing back. Could Liverpool still win the league? Probably not. I know Arsenal picked up an injury to Gabriel, but I don't think Liverpool are going to win the league. I think City could sneak a win. You can never rule City out the title race. Like, I think Arsenal are going to win the league this year, don't get me wrong, but you cannot rule City out the title race. Like, there's just something about Arsenal leading it for City to then overtake them in like the final month. Like, there just is something about it. Yeah, I don't know. Look, Florian Wirtz has gone on international duty and been really good. Like, Florian Wirtz has been really good when he's played against German teams and on international duty, but he's not showed up for Liverpool. I thought Florian Wirtz was going to absolutely cook in the Prem, but he's not. I think Bundesliga, I am more sceptical about Bundesliga players now because, like, Bundesliga defenders have done well, like De Ligt's done well, Mazraoui's done well, but other than like the really physically built players like Erling Haaland, other Bundesliga players just don't seem to do as well in the Prem. You remember Werner? I remember I wanted Werner, Sancho. So many Bundesliga stars, like, they come to Mkhitaryan that looked great in the Bundesliga. They come to the Premier, like, oh, they're a bit meh. They're a bit shite. I I mean, Ekatike's look good. Obviously Haaland's a monster. And Cuckoo's another example. Wirtz is struggling. Xavi Simons is struggling. I think Bundesliga, I'm happy to get Bundesliga defenders that are well built. But I do think with Bundesliga players, like the attackers, I'm always a bit more skeptical on now. That's why I like Prem Proven. Like for me, I'd rather go for Semenyo than some fancy Bundesliga winger. Do you know what I mean? French players just feel like they've never left. Do you know what? Ligue 1, and I've always said this, and I said this about a year ago, Ligue 1 is a very physical league. Ligue 1 is a much more physically demanding league than people think. Like, we always say Ligue 1 is the farmers' league, but I think Ligue 1 is probably a more difficult league to play in than the Bundesliga. I actually think that. PSG just run away with it, but I actually think the mid-table teams in Ligue 1 are a little bit harder to beat than the mid-table teams in the Bundesliga, which might be an unpopular opinion because I think Bundesliga, in terms of fan base and German football, I think German football is better than French football, and I think the way that German football operates is better than French football. I think, the fans, it's very for the fans, don't get me wrong, and it's bigger the Bundesliga than Ligue 1, but I actually think I think Ligue 1 players it's more physical, and I think they transition so much better to the Premier League. Like, Yoro's been great. Martial, I think, was, had injury issues, but I think for the most part, Martial was a good signing, to be honest, and that might be an unpopular opinion. But you look at some of the Ligue 1 players, and most of them do quite well. The players that seem to struggle in the Premier League are ones from the Bundesliga. Maybe Brazilian players seem to struggle in the Premier League. So, yeah. What do you think the second best league is after the Prem? Probably La Liga. I mean, Rashford's smashing it in La Liga, Anthony is, so who knows? But I'd say La Liga. But I do think, and as Alex said here, the French league has a bit more pace and intensity. I actually think the French league, in terms of pace and intensity, is probably the closest to the Prem. Like, Serie A's a bit slower. The Bundesliga is a bit less physical, but it's quick. The Bundesliga is quick, but less physical. The Serie A's a bit slower, more technical. La Liga is a little bit slower and more technical. But I think the French league, in terms of the physical side, is probably the most similar. I think the Serie A, if I was going to be honest, I think the Serie A is the second best league in terms of the quality. I think there's, Juventus, there's Inter, there's AC. There's so many big clubs there. There's Roma, there's Napoli. There's so many big clubs in the Serie A. You've got the big two in La Liga and Atletico, but you've got so many good clubs in the Serie A. But I think Serie A it's difficult. But the Prem is the best league, like that doubt. But the Serie A have a lot of big teams. La Liga, you've got your Mbappes and your Miles. But I think from a physicality perspective, I'd say the Ligue 1 is the safest bet. That's why I like that we're looking at some Ligue 1 players, and like Jeremy Jacket, for example. I like that when we look at Ligue 1 players because I think there's like a strong sense of physicality there. And some of the best Premier League players have come from like Ligue 1 and been signed by, lower down clubs. So the French seem to do well in the Premier League. They do. Do you think United should look in the South American market? I mean, 100%. Like, we've obviously brought that Cristiano Rosico in because, we don't want to miss out on him like we missed out on Moises Caicedo. But I do think the French market is a very good one to look at. And like the British market, of course, the Elliot Andersons. There's some very good technicality in this area. I think it's improved a lot in recent years. Bundesliga defenses are often crap and play dangerously high. So, it can help attacker stats for sure. I mean, Harry Kane, for me, is a phenomenal player and one of the best players in the world and, one of the best players in Prem history. But, I mean, his stats, he wouldn't get those stats in the Premier League. He wouldn't, like, as good as Bayern are and as good as Elise and Kane is and Diaz has been, he wouldn't get those stats in the Prem. De Zerbi is cooking with Marseille. But I said, Greenwood is suited to Ligue 1 because he's obviously doing very well. He's got 8 goals and 3 assists in 10 games at Marseille this season. Greenwood's doing very well at Marseille because he used to playing in the Premier League. He built himself up physically. It is a physical league. And De Zerbi's doing very well with Marseille there as well. I say the second best league is probably, I guess you'd say La Liga because they have the biggest stars. But you could argue Serie A is the second best league. But in terms of physicality, in terms of closest to the Prem, you'd probably say Ligue 1. Like, if I was to buy players outside the Premier League, I'd be more confident about Ligue 1 players succeeding at United than Serie A, Bundesliga, or La Liga players. I think Nico Williams would have flopped in the Prem. I really do. Just look at Anthony now and then. I mean, Rashford, for me, got 30 goals for United. Rashford was always a good player. But, a lot of our players will go to La Liga and do well. Like, Anthony's got 4 goals and an assist this season. So nuts. I think Sancho, if he'd gone to Italy or Spain, would have actually been seen as a good player. Do you think Greenwood will ever play in the Premier League again? I just can't see it. Maybe someone like Villa or Forest, but I don't think he'd want to go to a Villa or Forest. I don't think any of the big six clubs would take that risk. I think maybe a Forest could throw a bit of money and then try it. I think he's going to go to like Atletico or somewhere, Greenwood. But he's doing very well at Marseille. I kind of hope he gets a big move this summer, because then we can at least get like an extra 20 or 30 million for him from a selfish perspective. But yeah, like Athletic Club, they've been crap against all the Premier League sides. Exactly. Yeah, Lenny Yoro, Jeremy Doku, Bernardo Silva, Yuri Tielemans, Lucas Paqueta, some good examples there. Some good examples. But anyway, let's wrap up today's live show. I was just going to see if anyone's live and we can give them a raid, and anyone we could give a raid and redirect to. No one's live right now. That's a shame. Anyway, big up everyone for watching today's video. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.